Okay. Hi. So I'm going to do a little demo of the Jira Connect for self-managed feature, and actually there's two parts of this feature. So the first one, let me try to find this issue again. I had it in another window. So we split this one in two. So we have one feature flag called Jira Connect OAuth, and then the other one is Jira Connect OAuth for self-managed. And this is actually another feature flag. Oh, this one. So this is the feature flag name. And the idea is that OAuth was a requirement to make it available for self-managed. So we thought we'd do the OAuth part first, and then afterwards we do the self-managed part. And so this is all for the GitLab for Jira app. So this is embedded in Jira.
Mm-hmm.
And can show how it looks. So usually you can install this from a marketplace, and there is a workaround so you can basically create a development app and then point it to another GitLab instance. So this one is the usual marketplace app. When I open this, right, this brings me here. And this is the screen that we see when we are already logged in. Oh no, we're not logged in. So it says still sign in. Okay, this is the screen that we see when we're not logged in. And I think on GitLab.com we already enabled the OAuth feature flag. So when I click here, so you couldn't see it because I only share this one browser thing. Wait, let me share my entire screen. What's it? Yeah. Can you see it? No.
Not yet. Oh, something's happening. Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So I hope this works now. Probably need to sign out first. So I'll just sign out. And now reload this one. All right. And this brings up this little pop-up window where I can sign in.
Right.
And so this works on GitLab.com because we already did this setup steps, like going to admin, create your OAuth application. But if people, so there's this workaround where you can use it on self-managed right now. And I'm usually simulating this using Gitpod. Have you used Gitpod before?
Yep.
Okay. So I have already started my Gitpod instance here. And so when I copy this link, I can go to apps. Let's say upload app. And then it installs the app from my Gitpod instance.
Oh, okay. How do you generate that link that you just made? Like, what is that?
That's a static link. So it's like this is the Gitpod URL, and then it's Jira app descriptor, the dash Jira Connect. I think this is in our documentation. This is pretty much the same what we do in our workarounds, GitLab for Jira.
Okay, so there's some way of generating that JSON basically, and then you're creating like your own app in Jira rather than doing it through the marketplace.
Right. So we have this. I think this is the one. And it's pretty much explained here.
Okay, cool.
So use your instance, and then you add this to the URL.
Cool, got it.
Okay. All right. So this is installed now. So getting started. Oh, I'm already logged in here. So this is the GitLab instance. Let's sign out. And reload. Okay. And now it asks me to sign in, and when I do this now, it opens the login page in a new window, and this one stays. And I can log in here, and then I think I have to reload this window, and then I'm logged in. And the problem with this was that we rely on cookies to fetch the login token in the background, and this has a problem with some browsers. So we added this message that this only works in browsers that allow cross-site cookies, and yeah, this was a little bit difficult, and yeah, this is one of the reasons we wanted to add OAuth. Okay, when I activate the feature flag now, feature.enable Jira connect OAuth. Okay, and reload the page. So this is pretty much what will happen if we roll out the feature to self-manage now. They will see the same screen, but when they try to sign in, does it actually work? That would be weird. So it opens the pop-up window. I can't imagine it works. Let's try it. I was actually expecting an error message. Okay, no.
I see an error has occurred underneath.
Right. Yeah. So and this was what my main concern, why I created this UX issue, because if we roll out the feature flag, people would just see this error unless they search for the documentation, find the we haven't added this documentation yet. There's another issue for that.
Yeah, I found it though. Yeah.
Yeah, and find this documentation to go to admin and create the OAuth application, and yeah, until then they will just see this error message. And I thought it would be nice to have at least a message here that says if you haven't configured yet, go to admin, or maybe a link to the documentation. I think this is pretty much what.
So is it if I'm making a new link between a self-managed GitLab and Jira after this feature is out, like the link doesn't exist yet, is it the same problem, or is this only for people who are currently using the cookies solution and are going to change to the OAuth, or is it everyone, when this feature flag is rolled out, will get that error message?
Everyone will get it. So people that are already using it will get it, and people that set. I think it's not that bad for people that they want to set it up for the first time, because they will probably go to the documentation, follow the steps, and we will add the additional steps here. So they will probably see it. And yeah, the main concern is for people that are already using it and they're not looking at the documentation every time they open the app, and then they are just suddenly see this error message.
Right. And is there any way that we can tell that the person hasn't gone through the additional steps required on this point? Like, can we conditionally show something, or will we have to globally show something?
We can conditionally show something. So we can, there's some, I tried to find it, but it probably won't be helpful. But we generate some data in the background that we have here on this page to generate this link. And I think we can easily see if this data is not available and then show a message in this case.
Okay. And can you show me the steps that the user needs to go through to fix the problem?
Yeah, sure. So there is this documentation issue. Wait, is this the right? Reload. There should be some issues linked here. Is this the epic? Yes. Oh, maybe I need to sign in first.
Do you know it off by heart? Like, can you show me the actual steps that the user would follow?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, probably yes. Let me try it. Let's see if I remember this. So, okay, I'm on the Gitpod instance,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to admin, and applications. Actually, I think I have another, or maybe we can use this one. Ah, there it is. I have another browser where I'm still logged in.
Oh, right.
Okay, so we go to admin application, then we create a new application. Let me put this here and this here. Okay, name. The name doesn't really matter actually. Can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the redirect URI. And I think this needs to point to the Gitpod instance. So just copy this part. Right here. And then Jira Connect OAuth callbacks like this. Okay. So not trusted and not confidential, and scopes is only API. Save the application, and then we copying the application ID, and then we go to application settings, general. Oh, click too fast.
This is quite some steps.
Right. Yeah, it's not very intuitive right now.
Yeah.
But this is just the first iteration. I think it would be nice to have something. This could be all automated, so there's nothing
That's what I was going to ask.
unique. Yeah. So I think the next step would be to, I don't know, add some button here that will just like a checkbox, and if you check the checkbox and save it, then it does everything automatically.
Mm-hmm.
But for the first iteration, this was just the easiest way for us to do it. Right, so we copied the application ID and I put it here and saved it. And then, all right, so that's it for the OAuth setup.
Mm-hmm.
And then back here. Reload. Right, and this looks right. So, okay, then I get this authorize message and authorize. I need to compile again. I think this page should just show a message and saying, okay, you can close this window now.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And then automatically close, and then I can add namespaces here.
Yeah, right. So how many thank you for showing me that, because that makes it very clear. So the problem that this OAuth is solving is for people who don't have those cross cookie like browsers. I'm just wondering, like, of the total amount of users using the self-managed Jira integration, like what percentage are having problems with not having a cross cookie browser?
Not so many actually. I think we had a few users complaining about this, but it wasn't a huge problem. The reason why we did it was because we want to add another iteration later where you can basically just install the app from the marketplace and skip this this app descriptor step, and then point your installation to a self-managed instance. And for that, it was necessary to have this OAuth thing. Well, I can show you this too. So there's another feature flag called Jira Connect OAuth self-managed. If I enable this and see if this works. Right, and then I get this screen and can choose from GitLab software as a service, so gitlab.com, or I can choose a self-managed instance, and then I can put yeah, some other instance here. Save it. And then I can sign into this instance. And
Yeah.
I think this is actually what those steps are explaining. In this case, people have to go to their self-managed instance and do this OAuth setup thingy. And then they install the app right from the marketplace, just enter their self-managed URL, and then they can log in here.
Yeah, that's way better. That's a way nicer experience. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this this interim step. Like, I feel like you know, if we move forward with having this interim step where the user needs to go into GitLab admin settings and do all of these settings and follow all these steps, it's like we're creating a very complicated experience for the minority of people that have the problem with that, with the cross-site cookies. And I wonder if it's possible to, you know, make the iteration larger so that we automate that step, even if it means the cross-site cookie problem persists longer. Because if it impacts all people who already have the Jira for self-managed integration set up, but the problem only exists for a small amount of people, it's like we're creating this very complicated experience.
Right. I think that's actually a very good idea. Thinking, well, we can save some. The only downside I see is that we can't really prove that this is working, but I think that's only a very small downside because we already enabled the feature on GitLab.com, because on GitLab.com we already did the setup steps, so nobody else needs to do it. So if something goes wrong, we will probably see it, and it doesn't really add a lot of value if you do it for self-managed too. I just wonder about, we'll probably have to have this step at some point, because there might be some people that want to keep using this workaround solution. Like maybe some people are happy with this and want to keep it and don't want to switch to the other solution where you install the app from the marketplace and then enter your self-managed instance URL. So for those, we probably eventually need to add, or they eventually have to go to the setup.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to imagine, like, okay, let's say I have this workaround set up, and then we have the kind of marketplace for self-managed. Aside from the pain of like needing to go into the marketplace and install it, would I lose anything if I made that switch, if I stopped using the workaround and started using the official marketplace version?
Yes, there's I think some people would have security concerns, because this will basically route some things through GitLab.com. So if you install it from the marketplace, and this page will be rendered from GitLab.com, and then if you then add a self-managed instance, this will be forwarded to the self-managed instance, but it goes through GitLab.com. So I can't imagine that some people don't want to be really independent from GitLab.com and want to only have their self-managed instance. I have no idea how many those are, but I could imagine that some people want this.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm always like designed for the majority, and also like I think it's good for us to have a standpoint in terms of if there is official support, that we should be really encouraging users to go down those pathways, because once there is this official marketplace integration, that will be where we're putting our support, right? Like that is where we'll be working on. So we actually want people to, you know, unless there's a very good reason, we want to optimize the UX for that.
Yeah, that's right. I think we're expecting the majority to use this easier way, because there have been a lot of people asking for this, and yeah, maybe just a few users want to be really independent.
Yeah.
So it's just this small amount of people that that already using this workaround, and they're not doing it from scratch, because if they do it from scratch, they would see the extra steps here in the documentation.
Yeah.
So it's only those small amount of people that will see this error message.
Yeah, that makes sense. And maybe like as a, as the most MVC. So my takeaway from this is we wouldn't do this small iteration of moving to OAuth for everyone until we can automate those steps. So would the next iteration be the marketplace listing for self-managed, or would there be an interim step before that?
I think the next iteration would be the marketplace listing thing.
Yeah, okay.
But this doesn't include the automation of or maybe it does. Well, maybe the step afterwards, because yeah, if we do the marketplace thing, people still have to go to their, if they want to link their self-managed instance, they still have to do this OAuth setup, but they will probably go to the documentation first.
Right.
So, but maybe the next step is the automation of this. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because I'm imagining like the way that you just showed me that flow where you had these two radio buttons like SaaS and self-managed. I'm imagining I'm in Jira, I go to the marketplace, I paste in my instance URL, there's some kind of connection step, and then it should just work. Like that's how I'm imagining it should work. But is there things that the user needs to do in GitLab once it's on the marketplace?
Yes, so they still have to go on their instance and do the steps until here.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably want to maybe on this page we probably want to show a link here to point them to the setup for their instance.
But is there any way that we could automate those steps so that they can just paste the instance, and then when they press save, steps 1 through 9 are done on their behalf?
I don't think that will work, because they need admin rights for this. So unless they're so they have to be signed in, and sign in just happens in the next step.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be probably a security problem.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, I think maybe what's the easiest way would probably be, I know they add their instance URL, and then they go here, and then maybe there's like maybe a link that they can click on, which points them to their instance. Maybe they have to log in, and then there's just a button saying, okay, do the setup for me, and then they go back or something like this.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, let's say that I'm an admin, I press sign in. I'm just wondering if steps 1 through 9 can just happen in the background. And if I'm not an admin and I do signing, then I get a message saying, oh, you need admin access to set this up, or something like that.
Yeah, I think this would probably work. Yeah, so like a one-time thing that people have to click on, and then once the setup is done, next time there's just a sign-in button. It will ask them to sign in the pop-up window, and then it's done.
Yeah. Well, I think even like the first time, so this is them setting it up, they sign in the pop-up window, we detect that, they're setting it up. We do all of those steps in the background, if they're an admin. And then the next time, they're either signed in or they just sign in normally, and nothing happens in the background. Like that would be the most smooth, like everything just happens behind the scenes and the user's not even aware of it. That would be the best experience, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this could work. I'm not so sure, because there's probably some front end work involved in this, and I'm only a backend engineer. But I think in theory this would work. We probably need to ask permission, because this will create this OAuth application on the instance. But yeah, this could be just a message saying, hey, this will create an OAuth application on your instance. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, let them know what's going on. But that would be like a very simple flow on the front end. I'm sure on the back end it's a lot more work. But yeah, I think that's the best experience.
Yeah, I agree. That would be nice. I think this will probably work. Yeah, I'm just thinking if we can somehow split this down into smaller iterations. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a good approach to like document this ideal solution, and then we can think about how to break it down.
Yeah. Because what's the time frame for this feature?
We would like to release it in the upcoming milestone, so 15.6. Is it 15? Yeah. But yeah, for this I think would probably be okay to have this complicated setup. If we link to the documentation somewhere here, even though it's not the best experience, but maybe for the first iteration, it's good enough.
Yeah, but I guess what my concern with that is for those existing users that aren't currently having no problems, and the small amount of users that are, we're gonna complicate the experience a lot.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I would say like we shouldn't when we get to the marketplace listing, there could be maybe an iteration where we did ask the user to do this and we could build a UI for it, or we could do that everything happens in the background. Like that, I think that's there could be a nice way of handling that. But I guess for the current state before the marketplace listing, I would advocate that we keep things as they are, even with the knowledge that the cross-site cookies users will have problems.
Yeah. Yeah, we can. I think we can definitely do this for people that are using this workaround. And for the marketplace listing. So if they use this version, I think they have to go through the setup. But so this is a new feature, so there are no existing users that will just see an error message without knowing what's going on.
Right.
But I think we can, if we keep the OAuth feature disabled for self-managed and just enable the self-managed feature at some point for GitLab.com, I think that should work.
What's the time frame for the marketplace listing for the self-managed?
That's for the next milestone. So this is what I meant.
The marketplace is for 15.6.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We actually planned it for this milestone, but then some more issues came up, and the whole feature is a bit. This proxy thing is pretty complex, so we keep finding new issues and keep postponing it, and just hope we can be ready in the next milestone.
Right. So actually the UX that you need is not for the fixing the cross-site cookies, it's for the marketplace listing
Right.
new users. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's good to know. Well, I think I have an idea of the ideal, and then if the ideal is an enormous amount of work and would push the feature out by several milestones, then maybe we can think about a clever way of telling the users, because I feel like for a first time setup, having to go into GitLab and do things, as long as we can have really clear directions, even if it's not the most ideal situation, it's like a new user is maybe expecting to have to do some setup. So maybe there's a smaller iteration there where for the first people setting up the marketplace app that, we give them very clear instructions and they go into GitLab and set it up.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think this is a good solution. And then we can iterate from there. And I think in the X issue I created, also had in mind that this would be a bad experience for the existing user using the workaround. But I'm okay if we say, okay, we try to keep this away from people using the workaround for now until we have the ideal solution. So we can have to think about this a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure we can just keep the feature disabled for them.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that would be good. Because yeah, if it was like a very simple thing that they had to do, I'd be like, maybe, but it's pretty complicated.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is.
Yeah, and once we have the marketplace listing, we can try to funnel those people using the workarounds. Like that could be another piece of UI is like people using the workaround. We could try to encourage them to move to the marketplace solution because that will be, that's like the official recommendation.
Right, yeah. And I could imagine that there's only a very small amount of users that actually want to keep using the workaround.
Yeah.
Because of security concerns.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll have a think about the ideal solution and breaking it down for those users setting up the marketplace version.
Cool. All right. I think the recording is going to my computer, so I'll just upload it to YouTube unfiltered and then send you a link.
Perfect.
And then we
That'd
can
be
also
great.
we can probably also just share the link in the issue here.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. All right, then thank you very much for your time. And yeah, I really like this idea of having the ideal flow and keep the others as they are for now.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you too. And yeah, have a good flight tomorrow.
Thanks.
Hope everything goes well.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.